Good evening, I'm Kevin Christopher.
And I'm Nancy Cox. Thank you for joining us at 6. Before we get to the big story, we're at Storm Tracker Threat Level 1 due to the potential for heavy rain.
So let's get right to our chief meteorologist, Bill Mack.
And we've seen some rain in the area today. None of it has gotten out of hand. There were some strong storms early this morning back toward Bowling Green. Again, not for us. But as we continue through the night tonight into the day tomorrow, the threat for heavy rain will increase, the threat for stronger storms will increase, and thus our threat index will be at a 1. Now we have a flood watch up for the entire area. It is for tonight and tomorrow. There's going to be rounds of heavier rain coming through. We've already seen the pump kind of primed with the rain we've seen already. Now the rain on top of that, and we may start running into some issues. Strong storm possibility tomorrow afternoon with the main cold front that, boy, is it going to change our weather again. You're looking at the flood watch. Well, when everybody is green, everybody's got a flood watch. And so if you live in a flood prone area, be aware of your situation. Be prepared to move to higher ground if necessary. And as we always say, never, ever, ever, ever drive across a flooded road. That is where most of our deaths occur. When people are doing that, they think they can drive right on through, and they don't realize how deep the water is. Well, we've got water falling right now. The heaviest of the rain is in southeast Kentucky, Bell and Whitley County on up into Laurel County, going right up I-75 there toward Mount Vernon, then back toward McKee. Lighter rain then in and around Harrodsburg, back down to about Danville and Perryville. Light rain also southwest corner of Fayette County, back toward Woodford County. Again, that's not going to amount to a whole lot yet. But we'll watch more rain as we continue through the night on the future track as a warm front begins to bubble back north. And when that happens, rainfall will be locally heavy. That's centered on your morning commute. May get some dry time tomorrow, middle of the day, before the showers and thunderstorms reform. Those could be the strong ones late in the day. There is a big change in our weather coming. It's going to take away that warmth. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Thanks, Bill.
A grand jury has returned an indictment for a former UK student accused of driving drunk in a crash that killed a young boy.
Michael Burke has more about the new and more serious charge Jacob Heil will be facing. It's the LEX 18 big story at 6.
New discoveries were apparently made, and now former UK freshman Jacob Heil will face a reckless homicide charge. It appears as if a continuance from December gave investigators the time to uncover evidence leading the Commonwealth's attorney to add the charge. Heil is accused of driving the vehicle, which struck Marco Shemwell back in September. The 4-year-old died from his injuries, and police say Heil had a blood alcohol limit of 0.51. That's less than Kentucky's legal limit of 0.08 for a 21-year-old or older driver, but more than the 0.02 that's allowed of someone underage. Heil was immediately suspended from UK, and the Alpha Tau Omega fraternity chapter, accused of buying alcohol for a party that day, has been shut down. Shemwell's family released the following statement to LEX 18, reading in part, "The Shemwells are aware of the grand jury's decision to indict Mr. Heil on the charge of reckless homicide. Marco's parents have faith in the court system and believe justice will be served for Marco." Heil's attorney told LEX 18 he's aware of the charge and said he'd look at the Commonwealth's evidence and speak with Heil and his family. Covering the news in Lexington, Michael Burke, LEX 18 News.
Heil is scheduled to be arraigned on Friday, February 22nd. A Lexington police officer is being treated for a broken leg after a muddy fight with a suspect.
Yeah, police say the suspect fled when they approached a car parked on the wrong side of the road. This happened near Executive Drive, and police say Christopher Janes had a handgun and drug paraphernalia in the vehicle at the time. LEX 18's Eleanor Buckley has that story.
Mary Combs' office is only a few feet away from Executive Drive. And so a normally uneventful morning quickly changed when she heard shouting near her window.
I kept hearing them say, "Put your hands behind your back, get on the ground, stop struggling."
That's when Combs decided to take a closer look. When she did, she saw a muddy fight between Lexington police and a suspect by the name of Christopher Janes.
They seemed to have trouble getting the guy on the ground and cooperated, but once they got him cuffed and under control, everything seemed to calm down. And within like 2 minutes of the fight breaking out, there were a million other police cars rolling up.
Lexington police say it took 3 officers to finally handcuff Janes. One even broke his leg during the fight, which Combs says is the most action she's ever seen by her office.
Oh, pretty bizarre. I've worked here part-time for 2 years, and this is the most exciting thing that I've ever known to happen.
Janes and the injured officer were transported to the hospital, and Janes faces several charges, including assault and resisting arrest. Covering the news in Lexington, Eleanor Buckley, LEX 18 News.
The Scott County coroner says he has reached relatives of the man who died in an accident at the Toyota plant in Georgetown yesterday, but we're still learning to hear his name.
He was a 33-year-old man who his coworkers say had 2 children. He was a Ryder employee contracted by Toyota. Now, the coroner says the man had only been working for the company for about a month, and the addresses they have on file are outdated. He also says the man's cell phone was smashed in the accident. The coroner says he's contacted the man's mother, and she is contacting other family members. He expects to release the man's name tomorrow. A paramedic in Harrison County is recovering after the ambulance she was in crashed into an embankment last night.
We're told the ambulance driver was approaching Kentucky 36 at Lafferty Pike when the crash happened. Investigators say the driver became disoriented because of the thick fog, ran through an intersection and hit an embankment. Paramedic Kim Underwood was in the back at the time tending to a patient.
It threw her in like a ping pong ball in the back of that ambulance, and she became a projectile.
Underwood was taken to the hospital with serious injuries, but we're told she'll be okay. The Garrett County woman who was found submerged in her truck in Harrington Lake yesterday has been identified.
The coroner says 40-year-old Lindsay Keaton was a mother of 2 children. LEX 18's Catherine Collins tells us how police are trying to piece together what happened to her.
How did a mother of 2 end up in Harrington Lake, and how long was she there before she was found? Today, Garrett County police are trying to answer those questions, but they say it will take time.
Family members had last seen her and met contact with her on Friday.
Officer Brad Caldwell says she was reported missing yesterday at 11 a.m. Later that day, they pulled her and her truck from the lake. Now police say they're going through surveillance camera footage from around the marina to determine exactly when this happened and how.
There, we talked to a few individuals in that area. She was actually staying at a house on Kings Mill Road.
Blake Sargent says that house was his. He says Keaton was good friends with his mother.
She's taking it kind of hard. I mean, they was friends for years.
He says he has no idea how this happened. He can hardly believe it.
She got kids, she had a mom. She had people that cared about her, and now she's not going to be there no more.
Police say so far in their investigation, foul play is not suspected. Covering the news in Garrett County, Catherine Collins, LEX 18 News.
Keaton's cause of death is yet to be determined, and her body has been sent to Frankfurt for an autopsy. Well, Kentucky ranks dead last when it comes to laws protecting animals, but this legislative session, that could change thanks to several proposed animal welfare bills.
Animal advocates rallied at the Capitol today hoping for more to be done. Carolina Buchek has the story.
No excuse for animal abuse! No excuse for animal abuse!
Animal lovers and advocates use their voices for those who can't.
And since our beloved animals don't have a voice, we're here to make sure that they are heard loud and clear.
And they hope their voices
no excuse for animal abuse! No excuse for animal abuse!
Can make a change, because right now Kentucky's animal welfare laws don't do much.
Just to put it in perspective, I mean, Puerto Rico, they're trying, but you know, they have things like Dead Dog Beach where there's thousands of dogs running stray. People use them for target practice on the beach. They rank better than Kentucky.
Out of all the states, Kentucky ranks last in protecting animals.
The simple act of animal sexual assault is not illegal in this state, and you cannot get in trouble even if they caught you right in front of them.
Currently, animal abuse is not even a felony in Kentucky, and advocates want that to change.
If you can do those things, you need to go to jail.
And advocates hope this legislative session, with several animal welfare bills filed, can make these changes possible.
Please do this for these people and the animals. Thank you for being here.
Covering the news in Frankfurt, Carolina Buchek, LEX 18 News.
A McCracken County girl, only 4 years old, knew exactly what to do when her mother passed out.
Watch how she jumped into action to get emergency help for her sick mom. Next on LEX 18 News at 6.